Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Who's Gaming Now Early Show. Now, you might notice the format's a little bit different than it usually is for just the morning show. We're going to be getting into Unepic here, and with it, we're actually joined by Mr. Jacklifear here, the man behind the Jackass show, right? Or the Jackass podcast.
Yep, among many other things. But mainly the reason why I'm here right now is I am the community manager of Unepic, the game that we're looking at right now. So,
Yep. That's totally awesome. So you've basically been with it the entire time, haven't you? Or pretty early on?
Unepic was in development for 2 to 2.5 years as an individual feat of a man by the name of Francisco over in Spain. And I was watching its development as a fan, but near the end of that, I was impressed, but he was approaching a problem where he was having to balance his real life, observing the forums and the information coming from the community, and he'd do that sometimes 4 to 5 hours a day to try and get the necessary feedback, and then turning around and spending who knows how many hours up into the night coding. So I offered my professional services as community manager for him, and we built a good bond of friendship and such since. After that, it's been on Steam for about 2 years.
Yeah, I'm actually rocking the Indiecade 2013 shirt here. This is when I actually first saw on Epic was the Sony, I believe, the PlayStation booth when they were kind of demoing a bunch of the indie games for the year. So. Obviously, Francisco wouldn't have been there. It'd been kind of a long haul to get out. Though there are folks that come out from Europe, so I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing. But anyway, I want to actually kind of describe what people are looking at here. It's not some sort of like children only and adults only bathroom signs. It's actually the game appears that it's translated more fully with the adult content, and then there's a kind of watered down, but not in all the languages for youths. Is that what I'm getting from this?
Yep, this is for 16. It's based off the PEGI model since it was
Okay.
built in Europe instead of over here. And it's PEGI 12 or PEGI 16. We actually started with 16 only, and it just had one. And we wanted to move forward with the Wii U version, and at the same time, we had people in the audience that wanted to share this game with their kids, but there was definitely adult content, swearing and such was pretty prevalent. So we created an entire alternate set of lines for many of the games so that we could bring it down to that PEGI 12 level. And it would also be able to be released on Epic on Wii U.
Yeah, that definitely for Nintendo titles, I can see having to clean it up a little bit there. So I see that it hasn't been localized in every language. Is the idea that um, people in most of the other areas would just play the normal version? It's just kind of a luxury to have the PEGI 12 version, or what's kind of the logic behind that? And I'm gonna click over, by the way, and get to the title screen, but.
Okay. The logic behind it is it was originally localized by the developer Fran in English and Spanish because he speaks both languages, and by doing so, he built the foundation for any other language as people deem fit. Everything else has been created by the communities. All of the other languages are completely community driven and completely community suggested. And sometimes they'll even turn around and say, well, this line right here would sound good and it's okay, but how about we change it with this line? And they usually fight and have fought with themselves and then turn around, and it worked out where the script itself actually became more and more developed by the fans.
That's really cool. That's something that's been growing a lot the past maybe 5-6 years, I would say, or even longer, I'd say, but mostly I would say the 5-6 years or so is when I've really been seeing a lot. The developers going and getting a lot of feedback from their communities and working directly with them to improve the content of the games and fill the stuff in. Now, obviously, we can talk about like mods and stuff, and that goes back to the 90s and earlier. I remember having a hex editor for Wing Commander 2, and giving myself the biggest ship with more guns than it could normally have and more cargo space and all that fun stuff. But changing a little bit here and there, that's not quite the same as a community-driven language localization project. That's pretty awesome.
In fact, a lot of what we do is inspired by our community. In fact, there was one point, and this kind of hits on a completely different tangent, but it shows how community can drive things. Is this game originally, when it was started, he had a few friends that he played Dungeons and Dragons with, and he's like, I'm going to make a game based on our adventure, which is the thing every GM always wishes they could say. And that's how it started, is he wanted to learn how to do that and such. So he just made this little game. And it started becoming a public passion of how he wanted to proceed with the game further and further. And that's actually the origin of this game. He didn't even want to be a developer. But what it's led is, because of that mentality, that's why it's pulled from the community. And we've even done many features because of the community. For example, if you're going to start a single-player game, there are many Twitch streamers who have streamed it that we have actually created an internal system where if they submitted us the correct art assets, we can have them be the character in the game, even if it has the main character's face, or the main character's voice. So, for example, if you put in man right now, you would get man versus game. Zeke, you'd get Ezekiel the Third. And there's a list of many other Twitch streamers that, if you wanted to, you could play as them.
That's pretty cool. How complex is the art for the characters? It's like
it's the little portrait at the bottom that you just saw, and the little head image on their character. So you can actually, for example, if you played Ezekiel the Third, he would run around with his handlebar mustache that he had at the time, and if you hit Shift H, oh well, this is unforeseen. I can't answer that one right now, honey. She'll understand. But as we proceed with this feature, Shift H, we allowed him to wear his Viking helmet that he greets his subscribers with. So that's one of the angles that we did, is people who were passionate about our game and we were passionate about. We wanted to throw support behind them.
Damn. This place is crap.
I do apologize
really cool.
about the sound in the background.
That's fine. I mean, I've got construction going on, so you might hear a saw or two kick on, or a nail gun or something. So, there's going to be sound here and there. Plus, every now and then when I come to dialogue in the game, I have to mash through that so it doesn't cover whoever's talking. But, yeah, so I actually got into gameplay a little bit. The characters, they're pretty small. It looks like... not 32 by 32, but maybe a little bit bigger?
It's a little bit bigger. Actually, the reason it's small is because of the scope of the screen. It looks like you're using controller right now. Yep. If I believe there's a zoom button. I don't know which button it is on your controller, but it will zoom in.
Oh yeah,
we added this feature.
Left trigger.
Yep, we added this feature for the Wii U, for the remote screen. You can play this remotely and such, so it zooms in for that. The reason the feature came before that, though, was because we had feedback from streamers who were streaming it where it was too small of an image for their shows. So now we made everything a little bit larger, making it easier to see for the viewers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Another example of community-driven suggestions.
Yeah, and that stuff definitely helps because, makes it easier to stream, makes it more engaging to stream, because I have seen a lot of games where the characters are so small and there's a lot of artifacting going on with the broadcast, so you just see this little blurb in the middle of the screen the entire game. So definitely like having that zoom functionality to make it a little clearer to folks. And also for folks tuning in on mobile devices, they already have a small screen to begin with, so yeah, pretty cool. Good decision there. So it's a Metroidvania. You're saying the world pretty much is entirely handcrafted then, right?
Every one of the art asset, about 99% of the art assets you're looking at right now was actually, he learned how to do it himself, Fran.
Nice.
So he's done all the art. He figured out how to do it all on his own. He built the engine from the first character. So this isn't even using an external game engine. We call it Unepic engine.
Yeah.
Nice. That's really cool. But I guess let me rephrase that the handcrafted versus procedural is more the angle I was looking at. When I first saw the game, I thought it was actually like a procedurally generated sort of thing, but that isn't actually the case, is it?
Nope. Every part of it is handcrafted.
Okay.
We have multiplayer content and campaigns as well. That's completely separate content, and we decided to move forward with handcrafted as well, if you want to use that term. So while it has Steam Workshop and people can actually use the editor to create their own maps, we do not necessarily have any procedural generation in Unepic.
Gotcha.
As a design decision of Fran.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough beast to take on. I'm actually excited to check out Chasm pretty soon here. That's calls itself a procedural roguelike Metroidvania. Actually, I think he was the one who said he doesn't like the phrase Metroidvania, but it just gets applied to things. But that's that's a completely different sort of thing. This definitely seems like it's very story driven, very much like you have to go certain areas for certain reasons, and not just the gameplay reasons that you have to go here because it's a Metroidvania and this is the direction, but you have to jump off the platform because there's something chasing you or whatever. I haven't gotten that far yet, so I can't really speak to that level of detail, but coming from being a D&D campaign, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of that stuff in here.
Correct. The other thing to consider, though, is if you look like you've been standing there paused next to where you got the sword, when you're going with the handcrafted deal and you're going with a D&D, a game where its roots comes from a D&D campaign, you just got to take a look, and you can't easily create a procedurally generated storyline, which is what this is. There's a skeleton with a bloodstain behind it with a sword in your subject. Even then, even though you're not thinking about it, deep down in the back of your mind, the flavor is being created at that point, where you suddenly are starting to feel the danger of this, and almost you wonder what brought that adventure to its doom.
Yeah, absolutely. Damage 42. The text is so tiny. I thought it said ding 42. I was like, wait, that's a weird thing for a sword to say.
Would you, if you feel that it's too small, there is an option to change the size of the panels to make it larger if you wish to see it. So, another feature that was requested by the audience.
Nice.
As people with the old CRT monitors had difficulties playing the game.
I would figure there would also be things where one language versus another, the text needs more fidelity to actually translate properly. Like, I think Japanese, for example, needs a lot of pixels to properly represent the characters.
Correct.
So yeah, that would be definitely makes sense to be able to have that kind of scaling, and I think you might be able to hear the nail gun going off over there.
Nah, that's okay. It's merely music behind our ears.
So the ability to assign shortcuts is pretty helpful. It definitely lets you kind of get to your items quickly, and very, very, very useful. I mean, you've got a lot of items in your inventory with a game like this, so being able to get between them without having to pause and fumble with the inventory constantly is definitely nice.
Yep. Another thing that's interesting is this interface you see down below for controller. That was implemented about a month and a half before it hit Steam. And if you go on your keyboard and just hit about or get out of the menu and hit space, you'll see it immediately and dynamically change over to the keyboard shortcuts.
Nice.
Which involve 1 through 0 and shift 1 through 0. And if you look in the top right corner, you can actually do filters on your inventory with F1 through F8, checking if potions, weapons, scrolls, etc.
Oh, that is awesome.
So you might want to go back to F1 when you're done for your custom ones, but this is just to show the difference of how we implemented keyboard and controller interfaces.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure if I should pick up the gold or not and spoil that for everybody.
Oh, it's the tutorial. In fact, pick it up just
All right.
so that they can get an understanding of another lesson Unepic teaches you, which
And this-
is quite simply. Oh, go on.
It's actually something that somebody I talked to said made them not want to play the game. That, oh, you tell me to do this thing and then you kill me for it. That's lame. I wasn't gonna play anymore after that.
Easy it was to trick you.
To me, it's like
Thou such a fool.
that's role playing. That's what a DM will do to you.
Greed has become
Like
It,
it has
Go
it's
ahead.
very true that what you just said, but there's another layer to it, which is that as you play through the game and play late into the game, this game embraces, but at the same time is a parody of all of the patterns we've set ourselves in pop culture, video games, and role playing itself. This is an exact, like you said, this is an immediate call to, you know what? DMs kill you, and that's something you get used to. This castle is unfair, and you need to get that lesson in your mind quickly, which is why some people refer to it as it was relatable to a 2D Dark Souls with its challenge. So expect to die a lot.
Gotcha.
But at the same time,
to collect.
it's very reminiscent on the idea of people feel satisfied on the second time through, and it makes the reference about fool me twice, fool on you. So it actually shows a little bit of a dynamic nature.
I would say the other thing that it makes me think of is games like, original Rogue and the roguelikes that have kind of come since then, even some that existed before it. The idea that not so much that you're just coming into it blind, but on top of that, there might be a potion you drink that just kills you. There might be a scroll that you use that just kills you, or that it summons a dragon right next to you, and then you're screwed. So that sort of stuff is definitely the idea that anything could potentially kill you is something that's been around in games, but usually I would say it's more the procedural roguelikes that really cherish the idea that, oh yeah, you don't know what you're drinking unless you use an identify. You could just be drinking straight up acid or something and just kill yourself. So yeah.
Drinking acid.
Yeah.
Breakfast of dead champions.
Breakfast of dead champions, indeed.
So,
Yeah.
Fran, and I'm not even going to take credit. Everything in the single player campaign, 100% the brainchild of Fran. Short little promo, elevator speech. The link above my head for unepicgame.com, there's a click on the author where you can talk about how he has worked on it. It's a little out of date. It's been more than 2 years of work, but it's a great picture of him in front of a computer picking his nose. Everything is tongue-in-cheek with Fran. He's one of the most amazing individuals I've met in my life, which is part of the reason why not only have I assisted him in the beginning with community management, but I went forward with it even more so because he's made so many decisions that are not business-like and are much more human being-like than I've ever seen with any other studio I've assisted with. For example, a lot of people do early access to get the money necessary early, and from there they kind of reduce the price afterwards. Fran looks at it as the single player campaign was completed at the time that we went early access on Steam, but we were working on the multiplayer, so it was an incomplete game in his mind. So he gave it a reduced price during that because he felt that it was fair. You should not pay full price for an incomplete game.
I know another developer that does something similar, actually.
Okay.
Edge of Space, actually, their game plan. I think there's even another one that did this. The idea is we're selling it at the $10 level, but only for an amount of time. Once we've got more in the game, we're going to be selling it at the $15 level. I don't know if they're eventually going to be getting up to like $20 for the client purchase. When it's done, it's definitely going to be worth it. I love that game. But it's something where they're like, yeah, if you buy into it early, you're going to get it for a little bit cheaper. But if you wait till it's actually out, full price.
Mm-hmm. it's a good method. Granted, you could probably do better in my mind if you did the higher cost early. No shame in saying that. It makes sense in many ways in a business sense. I'm gonna go sappy and say for the soul, it shows a lot of character when you do it the other way around. That shows good business ethics, and that's one of the many things I'm ridiculously impressed with Fran. Indicate, as you mentioned before, he wasn't there. He was considering it, but his wife just had a baby 3 to 4 months earlier, and he could have turned around and found someone to help her out during that, but he just said, "No, I'm not gonna go. I think it's important that I stay home and be here with my wife, and I would rather be at home taking care of my kids and make sure that my wife is feeling comfortable than to go off to Indicate for a few days."
That's definitely
And
reasonable.
not many people have that grounded of a mentality in the games industry, but that's Fran.
It's one of those things, and I hate to say this because I love Indiecade, but it's one of those ones where it gets some amount of exposure and a lot of fan love, but it doesn't quite get the same kind of corporate and media love and exposure like you would get at PAX or GDC or E3 or one of those places. So while it's totally awesome, when people can make it out for that sort of stuff, I once again, I hate to say this because I love Indiecade, but if there's anyone to have to miss because your wife is just doing if your family is doing something awesome or whatever, you just don't go. You send somebody else. Like, were you actually working with him at that point, or?
I was,
Okay.
but I didn't go to Indiecade. There were people who were assisting with the Wii U development with Nina Games, and he sent one of them over because he felt they worked on it so well that it would be a good person to go. So, I actually went to PAX Prime just recently, and we didn't have a stall anything there, but I just felt it was important to walk around with the shirt on, interact with many of the people who have enjoyed the game and such, as well as just give away a few Unepic shirts to other streamers just to help level of promotion and thank them for showing it on their stream.
Awesome.
So
very cool. So there was just a what's it called? Castlevania reference in there.
Hey, Darks.
Yep. Belmont.
Yeah, there's
There's
a
also
lot.
the Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of references in this game.
I'm no.
Yeah, that was one of the things I noticed when I was checking it out at Indiecade last year. It's like, wow, this is just like the biggest reference and parody thing ever. It's like getting after everything.
Yeah, there's it's a lot like Fran's personality. Talking to him, he's just a giant reference. He'll be sitting there and he'll be like, we will continue this meeting later this week. And I'm like, oh really? He's like, yeah, I'll be back. And I'm like, really? Did you just say that? Did you? He's like, yes, I did, and I am proud. And I'm like, oh wow, it's that's meetings with Fran.
That's awesome. That's totally cool. So there were a couple other things I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit here. So I mean, we've been talking about the game here for a bit. Now, what's kind of the plan going forward with the game? You're saying that it's pretty much not going to have like necessarily a sequel or anything, or maybe that's somewhere down the road. But right now, it's most just like finishing up the content, cleaning up, adding maybe a little bit content and features here and there.
It is no longer an early release. We finished it and we went effectively gold. It took us 1 year, 3 months, and 86 revisions to get to that point. From when it went into Steam, mind you. And now that it is there, we've still got feedback from the community of bugs, balance concerns, things like that. We are looking over the report that we've created, and we are looking at doing basic maintenance patches and such, but the ultimate thing is there's a lot of people out there that release content after the game goes live. And we created the editor and enabled it on Steam. And we are still looking at ways of implementing it, some of those levels into the game officially. But not to expect too much content from Unepic itself in the future. And that's why we went gold, so that people don't sit there and think, okay, I'm going to reference it. It's a wonderful game, but Terraria had a confusion in their community where they're like, all right, new content every patch. And then one day they're just like, there's going to be no more content. And the community felt almost betrayed. And then later on, they did turn around and started making content again. But
because it's still it's probably the most popular 2D sandbox, so it's kind of hard to say no to making more.
Yes, but at the same time, we wanted to have a clear communication in a sense, saying we're moving forward from this game, and that's when we ended early access. We'll still do patches to kind of balance it out and polish it if it sums up. If there's bugs, we still want to fix them. But don't expect new levels and such from this game at this time. I can't say anything publicly. More than what I'm about to say is that Unepic will not be our final game. Fran is busy, if that says anything, and you can take what you want with that implication. And working with Fran is very fun right now. So take what you want with those 3 pieces of information. I will say we are not working on Unepic 2, and there's an insane amount of requests for Unepic 2. We are working on another game that fans of Unepic will enjoy. So
awesome. Very cool. Can you even say, like, is it going to be fantasy? Is it going to be sci-fi? Is it going to be genre bending? Like, what? Anything like that?
I have probably already said far too much. So there you go, exclusive.
Cool deal. Awesome. Yeah. That's going to definitely be pretty exciting. So we had a question in here from Runedog Twitch. What role did you play in creating the game?
I'm the community manager. My goal is to, I'm doing it much less these days. My goal is to look through all of the communication from the community and grab information that seems relevant, put in reports, bug information, and such like that, so Fran doesn't have to worry about scouring all that information himself. Or if there's a thread that I'm like, hey, Fran, you might want to look at this and talk about it directly. The other things that I do besides that is I wear many hats. I helped him quality assure, helped him with content creation, testing, skill creation, such as the major patch where we implemented an entirely new melee system based on feedback.
Nice.
Where you'll see it later on after the first area. Major balancing in multiplayer, and besides that, though, the majority of it, what I'm doing right now is I'm still trying to talk to Twitch people and keep it getting streamed, because that's the easiest way to keep the game's relevance and sales. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the game, but I want to have the game still being sold so that Fran can still get the funding he needs to be able to proceed with the passion that he has.
I gotcha.
And, I mean, the easiest way to keep it is someone sees it on Steam and they're like, I want to play that. Or someone sees it on Twitch and they're like, I want to play that. It's not much. I go in there, I have fun, I talk to people, and I love doing it.
Very cool.
And I'm trying not to push it in their face. I'm just saying, hey, it's a fun game, let's talk. And people will naturally want to buy the game if they feel it's worth their money.
Yeah.
And that's as it should be.
Absolutely. So those were satyrs I was fighting. I probably should have zoomed in to see. Yeah, it's definitely a really nice thing when people who've actually, they're involved with the project come through and say hello and potentially have some, exclusive information, or, just getting to hang out. It's always a cool thing. Now, that's actually something I was wondering about. Are there any exclusive, like, items or DLC stuff, or you can only get if you pre-ordered sorts of things, or is not really any of that in the game?
Yes and no. If you get the game on Good Old Games, you start with a GOG T-shirt. That's it. By the way, I am wrapping up with my time soon.
Yeah, I was about to.
Other than that, there was actually
I can read.
on the non-Steam version, there was something called Unepic points, and the way that we implemented them then was if you donated money, you got Unepic points, and a lot of people were like, "This game encourages DLC." The origin of that, for example, is people were naturally donating, saying, "We want to support you," and that's how the project started. And Fran turned around and someone in the audience, community said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool that if we donated to you, we got a small reward saying thanks for donating?" And he's like, "I love that idea." So that was his thought, was if people want to donate, I'll reward them. And that's my way of saying thank you. So the Unepic points that exist allow you to get trivial little items that, for lack of a better way of saying it, they're stupidly fun items that have nothing to do with progress in the game. One of them, and every one of them has a pop culture reference. For example, you can have a red shirt costume. That it's not that way now, but the original idea with the red shirt costume is you took something like 10,000% more damage. And it was a reference to the Star Trek red shirts.
That definitely makes sense. So it was like a hardcore mode sort of thing.
Well, it was a joke. And it was just the way that they could turn around and let's see what the community does with these hilarious, silly ideas that have nothing to do with the gameplay.
Yeah, but
And
that's the thing. It actually does create a new challenge because I'm sure there's someone that's like, all right, let me start with the red shirt and play the entire game no hits.
Well,
Or as far as
that
they
was
can
the
do.
theory, but people were taking so much damage at points it crashed the game because it couldn't handle the amount of damage it took. So it eventually got changed over and such, but that was the origin of it. Now, since it's gone to Steam, we didn't want it to have that feel for DLC. So now that people are actually paying for the game, so as you do the challenges in the game, the achievements, you get Unepic points, and you can still get those things. You just have to play for them instead of donate money, which it was originally a reward for people who wanted to support the project. Now that you buy the game, you already support it. Here's a reward for playing these little extra side things.
I'm
To buy or sell items.
So
Very cool. Very
Near
cool.
Zoran.
All right, so we are getting to the end of your time. In fact, I think we're a little bit over the time here for you because you're looking to wrap up at the 30-minute mark. So,
I think I'm confidently wrapping up in about 2 to 3 minutes.
okay.
So
Well, I can't think of really any other questions or anything. Actually, yeah. Let's just go with one more round of like where people can find you, where people can find Fran, where people can find the game. Since you know all that very well.
all right, the game itself, you can purchase it off our website at unepicgame.com. Alternatively, you can find it on Steam, Wii U, or the Good Old Games. I recommend the Steam version myself because with Steamworks, it allows you to play the multiplayer content. It most recently, just last week, I think, got released for Mac. We are taking the information from that release as it got approved finally and moving it over to Linux and expect it on our good old favorite Penguin loving machines very soon. But beyond that, that's where you can find the game. Myself, I'm Jacklifear. You can find me on Twitter at Jacklifear. And I am also a Twitch streamer around here if you want to drop into my channel. Same name, Jacklifear, but that's a moot point on the side. The one thing, though, the best way to keep up to date on future releases of information is to keep an eye on the website itself or to follow, as mentioned above my head, at unepic_Fran. If you do, I think it would be really cool for you all to say, hey, Jacklifear says hi, or just say WGN says hi. And I think Fran will be more than happy to say hi to everyone else. Heck, just tell him if you love his game, hate his game, think about him when you're picking your nose, whatever, he'll love it.
I think about cars and intersections when I pick my nose, but
Mm-hmm. I'm usually singing and dancing, so.
all right. So I think that's about it then. So thank you very much for coming on here, Mr. Jacklifear.
Nah,
not
you
not
can call me Kevin. But one
Kevin.
one question for you,
Yeah.
and this is the one that matters: is are you having fun? Because if not, be sure to let us know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I have just as much fun talking, often more times fun talking with the people in the interview, and it's just trying to move the action along with the game. But I think it'll be really fun to actually kind of start back from the very beginning and let everybody get a bit more of the dialogue here and understand things, because I just mashed through everything up to this point. I kind of have an idea of the context of everything up to here, but for anybody who's watching, it didn't quite see what's going on, and there's actually a lot of funny little references here, and very much an easy plot twist sort of thing. Oh, hey, the thing that you were introduced as your aggressor at the very very beginning now has to deal with you the entire rest of the game. So like it's a very cute sort of like familiar sort of theme.
Yep, and it is. It has been an absolute pleasure, Nero. If you need anything, shoot me a message. As well as anyone out there, you can shoot me a personal message at jacklifear@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Well, you got it. I will let you get on going. In fact, I'm actually going to switch over to the normal screen here so that folks can just see Unepic by itself. So thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate it, and we'll be playing Unepic all day here, folks. So definitely be tuning in throughout the day for the various shows. Get a chance to win the game here, and get to see some more of the story, some of the gameplay, a couple people playing it, so you get to see different ways to approach the things. So should be a lot of fun. Anyway, Kevin, awesome having you on. Thank you very much.
The pleasure was mine. Nero, have fun, and if you go to the bathroom, remember to bring a lighter with you.
You got it. All right. See ya.
Bye, sir.
Awesome. All right. Let me just make sure everything's linked up properly. And you know what? I'm going to do like I was saying and just start it from the beginning. Now we're going to be rolling with this for another 20 minutes or so, and then switching up to the other kind of game to feature for the day here. But after I'm done, we're going to be going back over to Kremchek's channel. He's going to be playing this for 2 hours. He's covering for Noodlecat. She's out with some kind of personal business and stuff. That's fine. So while she's handling what she needs to handle, we're going to be taking over. Kremchek's going to be handling the noon to 2 p.m. spot. So that'll be the place to go after we're done. But that's not going to be for another hour and 20. So let's start getting into it here. Start a new game. WGN demo. Let's do medium difficulty, because I can handle it.
When you enter the dungeon, 2 skeletons with rusty axes block your way. The eerie red light that glimmers in their eye sockets watches you fixedly. What do?
I load my elven bow and shoot.
Whoa, hang on. Are you really shooting an arrow at a monster that can't bleed? What do you think will happen? That the arrow gets stuck between its ribs and slows it down?
Hey, it works in video games.
Moron. The best RPGs let you use common sense. Come on, step aside and let a cleric work. I take my holy symbol and I turn the undead. Get back to the pit from whence you came, evil creatures!
Roll a d20. A blinding light appears inside their skulls. Both skeletons scream, and their inert bones fall to the ground.
Take that! 2 skeletons in 1 shot! God, I'm good. Okay, I approach quickly to see if they carry any loot.
As you approach them, you step on a loose tile. You hear a click, and a spear springs up just under your feet.
Fuck, I sprung a trap. I got a saving throw, right? Eric, pass me the chips.
Hey guys, let's take a break. I have to pee.
Again? Huh, fucking beer! Into the hall, left door, light switch is outside.
Hang on, I'll be back in a minute.
Bastards, you switched off the light.
I'm peeing in here. Okay, you asked for it, but I can't aim in the dark. Fuck, I can't see anything. What the hell? Where's the toilet? I don't get it. I was just peeing in it. Oops. I think I just pissed on the floor. Let's see if I can find the door. Nope, this is a wall. Wow, this wall is rough. I'd swear that it had wallpaper on it before. Nothing. I can't find the door, and this is definitely not a bathroom. I got a bad feeling about this. I'd better light my lighter. At least I'll see something.
Find the lighter in your inventory. Once you find it, select.
What's this? Stone walls, columns, darkness. Where the hell am I? Of course, those bastards must have put some sort of psychotropic shit in my beer. I'm having a hallucination. Cool, it almost looks real. What's this? There's something ahead. It looks like... Holy shit, a skeleton. I'm imagining things. Maybe it's Ricky's grandma taking a nap. I could see her as a skeleton. Or maybe it's Chester Copperpot. Does he have a key? Can't hurt to check. Oh, I get it. The hallway, the skeleton, the trap. I'm imagining myself in an RPG. Then I must be in a dungeon or castle that my subconscious has created. Okay, while the drug's working, I get to be the player in my own RPG. Cool. I'll compete against myself, even if I've never been a dungeon master. Yeah, whatever shit they put in my beer is really amazing. I'd better draw a map so I don't get lost.
Press Map to see the map. You can place notes on the map by clicking on an area.
You actually have to click to do that, it appears. Yeah, seriously, Saito. I want some of that beer too. Good stuff.
Looks like we have a guest, and he is unarmed.
No. I was just leaving.
Of course not. Let me offer you my hospitality.
Hey, I don't want to be a bother, okay?
Fear not. It will be no trouble to possess your soul and make you an eternal inhabitant of this castle.
What? No! Shit, that was scary. That shadow thing pounced at me. Wait a minute. Where did it go?
This is not possible. There is no faith in this soul. I cannot control this body.
That voice inside of me. Holy shit! I've been possessed!
Damn it, I can't escape. I am trapped within this body, in this prison of flesh.
I'm possessed! I'm possessed! Why the hell do you go around possessing people, huh?
When I possess a soul, I can gain control of its body and I can do whatever pleases me.
Yeah, but it didn't work with me, did it, you sumbitch? Ha! Fuck you!
Stupid creature. I just have to wait patiently for your death. Then I will be free again. In this place, it won't take too long.
Yeah, whatever. In a couple hours, the drug will wear off anyway, so you don't scare me.
Look at these corpses. In days of yore, they were creatures who dared to enter the castle. Now their bones are a testament to their bravery. Yours will join them soon.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Amarillo. What did he jump into? He just thought he was peeing in the dark.
Hey, Dark Smoke guy, you're lucky, you know? If I had this sword before, I could have split you in 2 pieces.
Do not make me laugh, mortal. If thou weren't so stupid, thou would know that I have no body and no weapon can harm me.
But in video games, I killed hundreds of ghosts with a sword.
A world where shadows and spirits can be hurt by ordinary weapons? Not only are you stupid, but also a liar.
Shut up. I'm taking my sword anyway.
To collect the sword, get...
Yes, yes. And then it's smart to put it on a bar. Well, he wasn't trying to, Runedog, but you see, they put some stuff in his beer.
Look at all this loot! I'm rich! Gold is, what, nearly 2 grand an ounce? With just one of these coins, I could buy the new console. Jeez, I'm an idiot. This is all a hallucination, damn it. It's like when you dream that you win the lottery and wake up with nothing.
Take some coins. You could buy powerful artifacts and deadly weapons.
Yeah. Wait a minute. You're waiting for my death to be free, aren't you? Why would you give me advice?
Stop asking foolish questions. Look carefully at how these coins shine.
Yes. Shiny coins.
If you wish to collect part of the treasure, stand over it and press action.
Go back. Thou left your coins.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Thanks anyway.
Press menu to open the menu and access to all its options.
Runedog, this is actually my first time meeting him, believe it or not. You might think all of us streamers are like all connected and everything. Nah, a lot of us know a lot of us, but a lot of us don't know a lot of us too, so...
Yeah. It's enormous. Shit, that motherfucker's as tall as me.
Press attack to attack.
Snake! Snake! Snake!
That was the Metal Gear Solid reference.
And where there's a chest, there's loot.
Press action when in front of the chest to open it. Should it contain...
Funny. So if anybody remembers at the beginning of Diablo, Griswold the blacksmith tells you use swords on fleshy things like zombies and use maces on crunchy things like skeletons.
There are some barrels here. Looks like they've been here for a long time. They're rotten. That means they're meant to be broken.
Maces and axes are super effective against solid objects.
Yes. Smoosh, smoosh. Smashy, smashy, smashy. Probably Rune. I mean, it seems like a game I could probably stand to play quite a bit, so...
To swap between weapons without having to open the inventory, you can assign a quick key in your inventory by clicking the item, selecting Assign Short...
Yes, yes. I'm probably going to find something. I've got a 24-hour marathon I'm looking to do on the 6th of November, so this is probably a game I would be able to kind of stand to get into and play for a bit. Maybe see if I can even get through it. Not everything has voice acting. There's a lot early on, but I'm guessing as we go on, there's going to be a lot more stuff where it's just like, yes, there's this thing, but... Oh, oil lamp. That was the Belmont quote. Whoops, shouldn't have skipped that.
Hey, Dark Smoky Dude. What's your name?
I have no name.
How's that work? The lord of this castle has no name?
You are mistaken. I am not the lord of this castle. I am a shadow, and my task is to protect this place.
You're just a minion. One of those one-hit point wonders.
If I had a pinch of the immense power of my lord, I could destroy you just like that.
Well, Shadow Guy, this castle and your master are figments of my imagination. Let's say that I am the great creator of everything. And in a while, everything will disappear, and then no one will have to be destroyed, just like that.
You, a pathetic creature of meat and bone, the creator of everything. Are you a liar or a fool?
Whatever, but I'm gonna give you a name.
Names mean nothing to me.
Let's see. What about Zero? It's what I lovingly call one of my favorite characters.
Do not dare call me that.
As you wish, Zero. By the way, I haven't introduced myself.
I care not.
I'm known as Strider, but my real name is Aragorn, son of Arathorn, and I'm the rightful heir to the kingdom of Gondor.
Damn. I'm trapped in the body of a fool.
Are you calling me foolish? Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?
Star Wars. Star Wars: A New Hope. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of race to the, well, not race, but I definitely need to get to the what's it called point so we can save and move on. 8 arrows, easy. Got 10 arrows. Yeah, you got 10 that one. Minor healing.
Crouch when near.
Good idea. It looks like the enemies might drop slightly different items every time, because I think I got a different set of gems and stuff from these creatures here. And that's cool. That means there's some variation.
Magic essences are used to cast spells and create potions. It is a good idea to keep these for later.
I'm pretty sure it's a finite save points game, actually. I don't believe it auto-saves at all. It probably only auto-saves for, like, death return checkpoint sort of stuff. Whoops. I need an S word. Yeah, the save point's up ahead here. Should have seen that coming.
It is recommended to assign a shortcut to healing. When you use a potion, you keep the empty vial.
Oh, nifty. Yeah, spikes.
By the gods of Kobol. What is this thing?
It's a magical prison. Within lies one of the pure spirits of Harnican.
There's a spirit locked in that box? What, like a rival god?
You're mistaken, fatuous mortal. The spirit within is under the command of the Great Master.
Really? Why is it locked up?
It is a pure spirit. It cannot exist in this plane. The box isolates and protects it. However, it can communicate through that beam of light.
Wow, must be an important guy. What's he do?
I will not reveal that information.
No? Okay, I'll ask it myself.
You? Foolish mortal. He will never talk to an insignificant slug like you.
Really? We'll see. Entaro Adun.
Who is it?
Can't you tell? I've possessed this body to carry out an important mission for my great lord Harnakon.
You filthy liar!
On Korabash, it's been a long time. What is this body you've taken? I haven't seen a being like this.
This body I've taken belongs to a privileged race, the humans.
In that case, I shall restore this vessel's vitality and remove any afflictions from it.
Thank you. My great lord will be pleased with your assistance. I shall return if I need healing. There's something else. My great lord has given me a new name. From now on, I shall be known as Zira.
It will be as you say, Zera.
So he said Zira and it said Zera. Okay.
On Korabash, Zera, your health has been restored.
Game saved.
Alright. There we go. There we go. Good stuff. I'm excited to get in some more of that in the evening set here. That is a lot of fun.